Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So before we get started today, I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you for all of the clients who've been working with me lately. I really appreciate it. And I am running a special contest. If you have purchased my book, Beautifully Broken, and you would like to be entered to win a free reading with me, all you have to do is leave a review for my book on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, or on Goodreads. Take a screenshot of your review and then send me your screenshot and I will enter your name to win a free reading with me. And if you leave a review on all 3 sites, that's awesome. You can be entered 3 times. It's just my way of thanking you for leaving reviews because honestly, when you're a small business owner, when you're first starting out, reviews, word of mouth, that is how people find you. So I so appreciate all of you who recommend me to other people. I know many of you do that. I'm so thankful and appreciative for all of you for doing that. And I'm trying to get my book out there. I really think that it needs to reach a bigger audience to help people. And so I would like to up the analytics by leaving reviews because unfortunately that's how a lot of these big corporations will put your name in front of people, as if you have more reviews. So if you've purchased my book, you've read it and you liked it, if you could leave me a positive review and then again just take a screenshot of the review and send it to me either through Facebook or through Instagram, or you can even email it to me. And I will enter your name to win a free reading with me as my way of saying thank you for taking a moment to leave me a review. All right, guys. Well, I want to get started on today's topic because it is a biggie, and it is a biggie for me sometimes. And today's topic is all about if you want to receive, you have to give. And this is one thing that's very difficult for many people because when we're stressed out about money, or if we've been hurt and we want love, but we don't want to give it because we want to close our hearts off because it's been difficult for us, this is a tough topic. But one message that I've been receiving from the universe lately in my own life that I feel many of you would benefit from is the message that you have to give in order to receive. And that's in all areas of your life. Where people usually feel it the most is money and love. Those are the 2 areas where people have the hardest time. And we feel like we get cut off and we can't receive and we're always in lack. And it really comes down to the fact that we're in lack because we don't give. And I'll explain what I'm talking about. I make sure sometimes that I always give to certain charities, but I notice that when things are really financially tough in my life, I don't do it as much. And of course, it makes sense. The thinking is, I don't have it to give, I shouldn't give. But I've also noticed that during times like that, when I got a nudge, like you need to make a donation, even if you only give $1, if you literally have 50 cents or $1 to give, you're giving. And that is probably one of the most beautiful things ever is if you're in a place where you are struggling, but you have it in your heart to give to others to make sure that they're not struggling too. And I know you may find this hard to believe, but the moment that you do that, it starts opening up this energy to the universe that you are open to receiving because you're giving. There's got to be an equal flow of give and take. And it's that way with a healthy relationship. Well, imagine that you're in a relationship with the universe and you're giving and the universe is giving. Like it's got to be an equal give and take. Well, if you're not giving anything, then the universe is like, well, I'm not going to give anything either, right? It's got to be equal. So when we put that energy out there of, I don't have enough to give, and you don't even have to give money, although I honestly, truly believe that this is one of those trigger points for people, that if you could just put the fear aside, and even if you only donated $1 or $5, you would see that the universe will show up for you and give right back. It really, truly does work that way. But you can give your time too. And you can say, I don't have the financial resources to give, but I'm going to donate my time. And honestly, people's time is a lot more valuable than money for most of us. Because most of us would rather sit and relax and enjoy our lives rather than, working and earning a bunch of money. So that whole expression, time is money, is true. Like, a lot of people value their time even more than they value their money. So giving of your time is a huge sacrifice too. And I do believe that the universe does reward and reciprocate in kind when we put forth that energy of giving. I really want to encourage you, though, to think about the money aspect, because this is a portion of our lives that most of us don't want to look at, and it's so super important. I was deciding just a few months ago that I really needed somebody to help me in my business, that it was going well, but I really want to step up my game, and I really want to provide better service and, really hone in on the marketing and all of that, which I'm not super familiar with. I took one marketing class in college almost 30 years ago, and so it's not helping me because there was no social media back then. So trying to use social media to leverage marketing skills, this was like a foreign concept to me. So I needed some help, and I was kind of shopping around with different people. There are a lot of business coaches out there, and each one would say, okay, and here's my fee. And I would meet with each one and be like, yeah, this sounds just like what I need and what I want. And then they would get to their pricing. And my stomach would drop and my heart would sink a little bit. And I was having to take a deep breath and go, okay, that's a lot of money for me. But it came to a point where I sat down, I cleared my energy, and I just said, okay, what should I do? Who should I work with, and what's going on? And the first thing that came to me was, if you really want something awesome, you've got to pay for it. Like, you can't just expect people to give you services for free. And I know that in my own practice, because whenever I have my pricing out there, when I first started pricing packages and things, it was a little bit of a struggle because I didn't want to be too expensive. But the messaging that I just kept getting for the universe is just offer tiers so people can work with you however they can afford to, and don't undersell yourself, because the value that you put out there and that you add for people is high. So don't undercut yourself. And I would say anyone out there that has a business, don't do that to yourself. So many of us who want to serve, and we have service minds, we have open hearts and we really want to help everyone. We tend to price ourselves too low because we don't want to be out of reach of people we need to help. But the truth is, you also are going to burn out if you undercut your pricing. So just developing tiered layers for people that you can help on the low end and on the high end and somewhere in the middle. And that's what worked for me. And so I thought the same thing when I was thinking about hiring a business coach. I was like, I could work with somebody who is a lot cheaper, but you get what you pay for. And I really need to learn how to do this stuff. I don't need like cookie cutter, like here's what you do and here's a template, and that doesn't help me. And I need somebody who understands how a spiritual business works, and how someone who is working a full-time job and doing the business and trying to leverage this so that the business is what becomes a full-time job. Like, I need somebody who understands that. And so, of course, that's going to cost some money. But I took a deep breath and tapped away the fear. I did have to tap away the fear. And I said, okay, I'm willing to invest in myself. And I put that out to the universe. I'm investing in myself and in my business so that hopefully the investment comes back to me. And I swear to you, in the first few weeks, I started I dove into the classes and into the lessons and the coaching that this business coach was giving me, started making the changes, and it started paying off. Like, more people started noticing me, more people were calling me and booking appointments and different things. So it did pay off. And in the same way, when you give with an open heart, the universe is going to give back to you. And I've experienced this in my own life too. There was a time when, this was a couple of years ago, when I first started my business, I was like, okay, I just feel stuck and stagnant in this energy, like nothing's coming in and I don't know what to do. And I just got this message. I heard it loud and clear, like, you need to give back. You need to give back. Nothing's moving and it's stagnant because you're not giving either. So I donated, to one of the charities that I always donate to, but I hadn't donated to in a while because I was so worried about my finances. So I made a donation. And then just like a couple of days later, stuff started just coming in for me. Like, I started getting new clients, people started purchasing things, and it was so strange to me. But it makes sense when you think about it. When you put out the energy of lack, of I don't have, I can't give, well, what do you think the universe is going to give back to you, right? That same energy of I don't have, I can't give. But when you give with an open heart of use this however it may help, then it's like the universe also gives back this, hey, here, I'm giving this to you, use it as you may find it helps you. And I promise you, this has happened to me many times in my life. So if you really want to try this out, just pick a charity that you really, I like to find charities that are kind of near and dear to my heart, or, things that I think people really need. Or, for example, for me, in my family, we've dealt a lot with grief lately. So I've been finding organizations that help people going through grief. And I've chosen to donate that way. But you can find any organization that really speaks to you. And just give, like, whatever you can give. Again, $1, if that's what you can give $1. And give it not with the thought or the idea that, oh my gosh, I can't give anything and I feel crappy. Not with the feeling terrible about it, but give with the, I don't really even have that much and yet I'm still giving. Because honestly, you not having a lot and giving $1 speaks volumes even over someone who gives $1 million because they have trillions. You know what I mean? It just shows that you trust and that you're open to and willing to helping others and to giving. And it's going to come back to you. It really will. And the same thing with love. This is the other area. This is a hard one because trust has a lot to do with it. Although, honestly, when we're talking about money, trust is really the key component there too, because you're trusting that if you give up this $1, it's going to come back to you. And you're having faith and trusting that the universe is protecting you, is watching over you, is providing for you. And for a lot of us, trust is a difficult topic. If you've ever been let down, and who hasn't, we are surrounded by humans, and our human brains react differently, and we don't always do things with integrity, unfortunately. That's why we're here. We're learning about these things. So if you've ever been let down or hurt by other people in your life, that trust becomes super difficult. You can get past it though. One of my favorite things to do is a tapping, because what you're really tapping is fear. It all comes down to fear. The whole trust, abandonment, all of those issues really come down to fear. You are afraid that what has happened to you before is going to happen to you again. And the truth is, you can't control other people, but you can control yourself. So if you set a healthy boundary with others and you let them know, look, I am not going to accept crappy behavior from you. So if that's how you're going to behave, bye-bye. If you set your healthy boundary, then there's really nothing to fear, because if the other person isn't willing to respect your boundary, they will fall away from your life, and that is not the worst thing that could ever happen. It is you knowing what you deserve and not accepting anything less than that. But it really all comes down to fear, to the fear that, hey, I'll be treated that way again. Well, you can't be treated that way if you don't allow it. So we need to get rid of the fear, because once you've learned how to set the boundary, and if you don't know how to do that, I teach all about that in my new 10-day intensive self-love course. So you might want to check that out. That is where you learn about the healthy boundaries. If you learn how to do that and how to set those, then what you're really, really worried about is fear, because it's not going to happen to you again if you don't allow it. So we've got to get rid of the fear. And tapping is a great way to do that. You can tap it out. So there are tappings on YouTube. Usually when I'm working with my clients, I create tappings for them on the spot, because we really look at the specific emotion they're feeling. And we use their own words, because that's really how you get to the root and the core of the issue. But you can do some on YouTube also. And I always tell my clients, think of a scale of 0 to 10, like the pain scale they give you at the hospital. On a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is I'm perfectly fine, I have no issues, I feel calm and relaxed, and 10 is I am freaking out, I'm panicking, that's your scale. Where are you now? And then do the tappings until that measurement for you is 0, until you get down to 0, until you're not feeling it anymore. What a lot of people do is they make the mistake of doing a tapping once, and then they're like, I did it and I feel a little better, and then they don't ever do it again. So you haven't really completely tapped out all of the fear. You've only tapped out what's on the surface. So it usually goes much, much deeper than we really even think. And so doing that scale helps you to realize, oh, hey, I was at a 10 with my fear and worry, and now I'm at an 8, and now I'm at a 6. So we're really seeing it helped to eliminate it a little bit, but I still have a long way to go. I may have to do it 5 times, and that's okay. There's no perfect thing for you. Everyone is different, and everyone reacts to it differently. And maybe a meditation helps you more than a tapping, and that's fine too, but use the same scale. Look at it from 0 to 10. Where's my anxiety now? Where's my fear now? And how can I get it to 0? You always want to make it 0 and zero out that fear. Because for a lot of us, what we do is we end up not giving in relationships either. Because what we say is, I don't want to be the one to give, because I was the overgiver before. So this person's going to have to be the one to give to me. But if you aren't giving, then you are blocking from receiving as well, because you have to have a relationship that's 50-50 give and take. And when we do that, when we say I'm not giving because look what it did for me in the past, I've been hurt in the past, so I just refuse to give, you're actually blocking yourself from receiving love. How do you expect to receive love if you completely close yourself off from it? And that's what many of us do. I myself have been guilty of that in the past. We close ourselves off from finding love, because if we never open our hearts, then we can't get hurt again. But that's the completely wrong way to look at it. You didn't come here on this earth to learn how not to love. You came here to learn about love in all of its forms. And love can be messy and painful, and that's because you're learning what healthy love really is. Many of us, when we grew up, were not taught about healthy love. I think it should be taught in schools, and it's not, but it is one of the most important things. Most of us learn how to love someone else by watching the people around us. And if you grew up in dysfunctional families, toxic families, then you learned the wrong way. You learned probably emotional manipulation. You probably learned to be an overgiver because you just wanted to keep the peace and you wanted to make everyone happy, or maybe you saw a family member doing that. Maybe you had a parent who was giving more than the other parent because they just wanted to make that parent happy. There's so many different scenarios that could really be going on. But we all grow up and we assimilate to our environment. And so we learn how to exist in relationships, and we learn about relationship dynamics by watching what happens in our own family dynamics, by growing up and experiencing that. So if you didn't grow up in a healthy household, and let's face it, most of us did not, then it might be hard for you to decipher what a healthy relationship should look like, what true love really does look like, all of those things. And that's a whole nother podcast. But really, it starts by self-love. It starts by learning how to love yourself, setting your healthy boundaries. And then when you actually meet someone else, you're teaching them how to love you. You're teaching them how you want to be treated. That's a really important thing that most of us don't realize. The way that we treat ourselves, our own actions and thoughts towards ourselves, are really playing a major role in how other people think and act towards us. Because if we're not even being nice to ourselves, how can we expect someone else to be kind to us? It just doesn't work that way. So if you want to receive love, you actually have to open your heart, and you have to try to let go of the past, heal the past, let go of the armor to allow it to come in. And you have to be able to give love, and that means giving love to yourself by showing yourself compassion and forgiveness and doing nice things for yourself, doing self-care, taking care of your mind, body, and spirit. And it also means showing others compassion and forgiveness and love. That is the way that you will see more love coming into your life. And that is I think the number one reason people really aren't experiencing love, and they don't realize why. It's because you're kind of setting yourself up for failure if you don't love yourself, and if you can't even show yourself kindness and compassion. And really, one of the true, I think, key components of love is forgiveness. We're all going to make mistakes sometimes. We are. It's just the way that this works. When you're learning, you make mistakes. And when you make mistakes, sometimes people get hurt in the process. So being able to forgive your past, forgive yourself, all of that is so super important. When you're able to do that, that is when the love is going to come in. So if you want to see more love, money, abundance, whatever, flowing into your life, you have to give. If you want to receive, you have to give. That's a hard one for some of us, but not over giving, but giving in the sense that you are being charitable to others and to yourself. And when you do that, the universe will match that energy. I promise you. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you for being here with me today. I wanted to pull a card for you. And so today I decided to pull a couple of cards from the Teachings of Abraham deck. And the first one is, I look for positive aspects in every experience. Within every particle of the universe is that which is wanted and lack of it. By looking for the positive aspects of whatever you are giving your attention to, you maintain your connection to well-being. So looking for the positive in whatever is happening to you is honestly, when we focus on positivity, you're calling more of that in. The universe just wants us to be abundant and happy. And if we're not abundant and happy, it's because we're focusing on the wrong thing. And you can choose to shift your focus at any point in time. And honestly, it is a choice we make every single day. The second card I pulled from you is whatever abundance I seek is mine. It is the law. Whatever I desire and then allow, I must experience. There is no exception to that. As I hold myself in vibrational alignment with my own desire, I will experience in all ways the fulfillment of that desire. I love that. And again, you have to be in vibrational alignment, which means no fear, no worries, no doubts, because you know it's coming to you, you know it's yours, and you're claiming it now. And focusing with unwavering attention, not on the lack, not on the fact that it's not here and that you don't have it, but that it's already yours, it's coming, and all you have to do is sit back and just relax. It's on its way. All right, guys. Well, if you want to work with me, there are so many ways you can. I talked about self-love in this particular podcast episode. I offer 2 courses on self-love. One is a 10-day intensive self-love course, which is only $20 right now. You can purchase it on my website from my offerings page. And the other course is a little more, it's longer and it's more intense, and it is called You Are Lovable. That is also available on my website, and that course is $99, but it's a longer course and there's more material in it. But once you purchase a course with me, the materials are yours to keep forever. And I always encourage you to go through and do the activities more than once, because you get something new out of it each time you do it. If you want to work with me privately, one-on-one, you can do that. I have my 30-day purpose intensive, where I work with you to help you achieve whatever goals you're hoping to achieve, whether it's to lose weight and love your body more, whether it is to find your purpose in life, to switch careers, to work on building a business, whatever it is, to get unstuck, to focus on building your spirituality, finding love, you name it, I can help you. You can go and look at that on my website. I also offer a payment plan for that program. And you can also book readings, Reiki sessions, and past life regression with me. Also, if you follow me on social media, I go live Mondays on Facebook at 6:30, where I do a free card reading, and that is Central Time. And if you show up for the live, I'll pull a card especially for you. I also post videos to Instagram. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please leave me a positive review. You can also leave me a positive review if you've ever worked with me. I appreciate that. You can leave it on my Facebook page or on my website, or if it's for my book, wherever you purchased it. And don't forget, there's a contest right now. If you leave a book review for Beautifully Broken, take a screenshot and send it to me, and I will enter your name in the contest to win a free reading with me. I hope that you guys are having a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. As always, I am sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.